Good morning and welcome to the Betting Connection podcast. My name's Chris. I'm here as always with my partner in crime, Rob. Rob, domestic football's back. Champions League is back. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing good. I'm doing fine. A couple of late night goals, late goals that uh, did me wrong. But yeah, glad to see Champions League back. Really fun matches, good matchups as well. Still something to play for tonight as well. Isn't it Barcelona, Newcastle, Barcelona tonight?
Yeah, Newcastle, Barca tonight, and Man City are playing Napoli as well, I believe. So a couple of great matches tonight. And yeah, I love the new format. We said it last season, but I love the new format because it's throwing up these matches like at Liverpool Atletico. You've got two good ones tonight. It's interesting, and then you don't see there are some obviously poorer teams in the competition, but you're not having to watch them home and away from the same team. So I just love these kind of random matches, top level, really fun.
Yeah, the only thing is that sometimes like teams like Paris Saint-Germain or teams that are outside the top three leagues or the top leagues, definitely the Premier League, they have kind of hard draws compared to like an English team who has most of the time a couple of weaker opponents from different leagues in it as well. So maybe they have to think about it a little bit, but then again, that's why we get this great matchups as well.
But
And
it, but Rob, each team get two teams from each pot. So in theory, it should be the same
yeah, but
potential
the English teams
difficulty.
can't draw an English team.
Oh,
And to be
I see what
honest,
you mean.
the
Yeah,
English
and
teams are like so strong.
there's
And
six of them this season as well.
yeah, they were all really strong. To be fair, they also have a lot of competitive games and a lot of matches as well. So there might be some fatigue as well for them. And like unlike Paris Saint-Germain, who is able to rest players up during the weekends, or they don't have that much games. So the French what association sometimes postpones matches so they can
Yeah,
rest up players for Europe. Maybe that's also not so fair, not fair compared to the English ones. But the Dutch seem to do it as well, and we have quite a lot of success with it when they have a weekend off and just focus on another game. That's maybe also not fair. So, I like the format better than the last one. So, yeah.
yes, it's a good point you make actually about the French league, especially PSG having to face mostly they're more likely to get the strong teams from England and Spain. As you say, England and Spain can't draw their own country's teams. But yeah, I think on the flip side, later on in the knockout rounds, teams like PSG and even Barca and Real Madrid, to a point as well, have a huge advantage over the English teams because the English teams have to one, the league is competitive first and foremost, and secondly, like there's no respite. It doesn't matter who you're playing, you are in for a 97-minute match of pure, intensity, and that just doesn't happen in the other leagues. It just doesn't. I mean, I watch a lot of La Liga, and if Real Madrid or Barcelona are winning 2-0 at half time, it's a training match second half every time.
It
It's a
is,
training
and
match, and you don't
and
get
in
that.
England, you have to play like 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 matches. You have to play against a top six team, so that's quite a lot. And you always get one in the end of the season as well, during those weeks that you have European football as well. So that evens it out, to be
And it's
honest.
not in, and it doesn't even matter if you're playing a bottom team. Even if you're 3-0 up in Premier League, the other team is still giving it everything until the end. They didn't give up. No one gives up.
Yeah, but then again, the budget of the last ranked English team is probably bigger than than most top teams across Europe. Not all of them, but
True,
yeah.
it's true.
But
But
that's the
anyway,
fun of football, I think. That's maybe the fun of football. And let's see who
any
gets it.
anyway, let's crack on and quickly recap last weekend's pod. Actually, just before we came on air here, Rob, I had to change it from a winning pod to a losing aware of a very late goal that happened in your second division Dutch match last Friday night, and that you mentioned it in your intro. Last minute or very late injury time goals are occurring this season. It has been the theme of the season so far, and they haven't been going our way, actually. The week before was the same, lots of last minute equalisers. Last week was the same, and the game I'm referring to is FC Emmen that you picked against Top Arse, and that was a last minute equaliser as well. And the result was pretty much the same. So we made 8 value picks, or so I think 7 value picks and a double or a couple of doubles. But anyway, 8 picks on our pod with average odds of just over evens, 2.07, and we got exactly 50% right last week. So we actually made profit just on our picks, but again, the Accas didn't come in. So overall, the pod was slightly a loss at minus 0.73. So almost an identical week to the previous one. However, we are 4 weeks in. We are up overall plus 4.85 units, so we can't grumble too hard. But just a lot of near misses at the moment, Rob.
Yeah, and as well with Big on Acca, we missed out on one with AS Roma. Also a strange result, to be honest. I actually fancied AS Roma to win that match. They were in quite good form, playing at home. But they didn't. They didn't show up. They lost to, I think it was Torino, 1-0. So yeah, we're getting close, but no cigar yet. But 0.7 units loss. It's not too bad of a result, and I think we can outperform ourselves this weekend and go up towards the 9-10 units profit.
I had a weird weekend. Firstly, I've got a little secret to tell you. I took Roma out of your Big Gun Acca when I put it on. So I actually won the Big Gun Acca. So pat on the back. Thank you very much. So I took your
No pat on
teams.
the back. You should have told us. You should have told the
Well, no,
considerations.
like it was only when I was doing it. I didn't think anything of it when we recorded the pod. But when I was putting on the bets after the pod, you'd obviously picked Roma and Como as a double as well. And I was like, oh, I'm not putting I'm not doubling down on Roma. They're not like what I would consider a big gun Acca team traditionally. And, the double was already there with Como using Roma. So I thought, I'm going to take it out. I still had pretty decent odds of, much better than even. Anyways, 2 point something without them. So, yeah, I just put that on with just the Arsenal, Bayern, Feyenoord and Liverpool, which came in. And yes, I had a little win there. But on the flip side, I had some bad luck. So I accidentally put on one of my picks twice. I put it on twice. And bearing in mind that I had Spurs to win at 2.1, which came in. I had a good double with Arsenal and Notts Forest at even money. I had Napoli away at Fiorentina win, which was really nice as well. But no, the one that I had to put on twice wasn't one of them. It was Chelsea. That was the one I accidentally put on 2 units. And they obviously scored a really late goal, Chelsea. I thought, boom, done. What a result. Another bit of luck. And no, they still managed to find a way of drawing the match and losing 2 bets for me.
Yeah, it was a good pick, to be honest. It was good value. But yeah, unlucky. But yeah, if it has to be a 93rd minute goal that does us in, yeah, it's fine. Like it's still quite a good pick, and yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
And look, I personally have had a good start to the season. One thing for anyone that's followed our pod throughout last season will know that we tend to go in trends, don't we? You're on a hot streak and I'm not, or I'm on a hot streak and you're not. And that's why, like, again, we've told the story about how we have got together and we've just been betting for years and we kind of ask each other what we're betting on today. And we've done it for years and years before we started this pod. And that's why it's always worked with me and you, Rob, because it's very rarely that both of us are doing terrible at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what's so great, and that's why this pod works, and why we're constantly making profitable picks, because one of us is always informed. And look, I have to say, I've done 19 bets, 19 picks in the four pods this season, averages odds of 2.33. And 63% winning, nearly 10 units profit, 9.5. So it's going quite well.
You're the one pulling the ranks.
I am at the moment, but I know that it's going to swing the other way. I remember vividly some pods last week where I literally got donuts, and you bailed me out and still made winning pods. So that's what I'm talking about. Look, it is my moment right now, but it will flip the other way for sure. And that's why we don't really lose much on here, because it's very rare that we both have this kind of bad form at the same time. And we mentioned it last week, and I'll mention it again. It's the Premier League. It's the Premier League that's really winning at the moment for us and getting some good value. However, Rob, that leads me nicely on to this weekend. Can't find value in the Premier League this weekend. Can't find it. Not on single picks anyway.
No, me neither. No, it's tough still to get to see where teams are going. Sometimes I have that feeling that when a team starts off really bad a season, like 2 or 3 bad results, and then they have a little time to get together, they all of a sudden like they have a different kind of energy. It's like they need a result, and they do get a result, and that scares me off a little bit. Maybe in the like during the middle of the season, that definitely changes as well, and at the end it's the other way around. There's teams that don't have a lot to play for anymore. But at the moment, I'm also sometimes a little bit scary about teams that gone off to a bad start, that would supposed to be like in the mid-table or something, and then they'll get some results done. So for England, this moment, yeah, like maybe Liverpool I will add, but then again, it's a derby. It's always hard to tell. I think last season they didn't do well in the derby. I remember Slot a little bit of a mental breakdown by shaking off the hand of the referee when he lost it. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, I've got a pick. It's a double, but before I get there, I just want some notable mentions on potential value. So I keep getting drawn to Aston Villa away at Sunderland at 2.1. It does feel like a nice price. If that was Villa of last season, you'd be jumping all over that. But Villa have given us absolutely nothing at the moment to back them, really. They've not had a good start. They haven't scored. I don't think they've scored a goal actually in the Premier League. I think they scored their first goal in the Carabao Cup during the week this week, and they still ended up losing on penalties. So terrible start. Sunderland, as I mentioned, pre-pod, and actually on my first pick of the season, I think on our first pod, I backed them to beat West Ham. I'm not gonna fade Sunderland yet. I don't think they're in fadeable territory at the moment, and Villa are giving us nothing of confidence to back them. But I can't stop getting drawn to that price when I'm looking at the schedule. So it's interesting, but I'm going to stay away. I also think Arsenal at home to Man City. Obviously, a couple of years ago, you would never be getting Arsenal as clear favourites in this match. It does seem to be the case now. Arsenal 1.91 right now. Man City 3.75. I mean, that's a huge price in its own right, but for good reason, probably. I do think Arsenal are good, a good price there, but I'm not going to pick it. I'd need to get better than even money to really feel like that's good value.
I think for the Arsenal-Manchester City game, you have to see how Manchester City is going to play tonight against Napoli. It's kind of hard to tell which way, like how good are they really this season. They had some hiccups against Brighton and Tottenham. Then again, they looked quite convincing against Manchester United, or at least Haaland does. He seems really hungry. But I think Napoli is a good test, and maybe keep in mind, like Arsenal gets 2 days of extra rest for this game, so that's quite a lot. Take a look at the lineups as well. So
yeah, that's actually a huge advantage. It's something that normally goes against Arsenal actually in these situations, but that is a clear advantage. 2 whole days. Obviously, they're trying to do a lot of Thursday night football in the Champions League at the moment as well. So that's gone in Arsenal's favour this weekend. I think it might be factored into the price already, but definitely an advantage there. And I think it's. I do fancy Arsenal to win. They won that match 5-1 last season. 1.9 isn't tempting me enough though, and so I'm going to stay away. Although it's definitely a lean. One team that I really fancy this weekend, and it does make up my double, and it is Crystal Palace away at West Ham. I'm very tempted to go for the straight win as a value pick, but I just think that Palace, they're quite a bit of a draw specialist team as well, and I think they'll actually see a draw being a half decent result. They're 2.38 to win it, and they're 1.4 something, I think, for the double chance. So I'm going to go Palace double chance here, and I am going to double it up with Liverpool. Liverpool 1.45 at home to Everton. I know it's a derby, and I take what you said on earlier, but that was away at Everton, that match, and it was the last game at Goodison Park, and it was, emotions were high, etc., etc., etc. Liverpool, I just don't think it matters what happens. They'll end up winning the 94th minute. So you've got to back them. They're decent price enough to double it up. Like I say, Palace are unbeaten as well this season. West Ham an absolute car crash. I know they won that one game away to Forest. But other than that, they're not good. I faded them last week as well. So against Spurs, that came in. Spurs absolutely smashed them. And they're home again, where actually it's been the scene of the worst crime for West Ham fans so far this season. They've got heavily beaten in two other London derbies with Tottenham and Chelsea. Like I say, Palace are unbeaten this season. They've only won one, which was a good win away at Villa. And they've also drawn away to Chelsea on the opening day of the season. So yeah, I fancy them to get at least a draw here, if not win. They won this fixture 2-0 last season. It's actually been a while since they lost this match, actually. I'm looking at the history, and they haven't lost in the last 4 meetings at West Ham, and they've won 3 of those 4 as well. So yeah, I strongly fancy Palace in this. The single at 2.38 is tempting, but I'm going to go double chance, double it up with Liverpool, and the double there you're getting just better than even money, 2.05.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. The only other match worth mentioning at the weekend, another big match there, is Man United versus Chelsea. You lean towards United away at Man City last week, and I mean this team is just it's just not getting any better, is it? I'd say bless them or poor them, but it's really not. You mentioned it before that you kind of want to see United back, and I said no. This is pure popcorn. This is popcorn on the sofa watching a movie. The stuff this is, and look, I'd fancy Chelsea to beat United 2.38. It's fairly interesting. You just never know. You know the day that you back against United, they're just going to come up with a good result. So I'm just staying away and just, like I say, watching it with popcorn at the moment. But it's interesting anyway.
Yeah, very interesting where it's going to go. I think it was just a match on its own. And that's why I lean towards Manchester United, because of the price and because of it's sometimes those fixtures cook up strange results which go against the grain. But then again, I didn't bet it. I didn't bet it at all, to be honest. And that's it. Yeah, clear result.
And that is it. So let's move away from the Premier League. I'm just going to quickly touch on the Championship. Anyone who's been listening to this pod this season knows that I've been backing Middlesbrough every week, which have it's worked out very nicely for me, to be honest. I backed them last week. It finally came to an end. It was a draw away at Preston, and it was a late draw for Borough as well. They were actually losing with about 8 minutes to go. They got back to a draw, and over the course of a season, that actually will prove to be a good result. So yeah, I'm not going to steer away from them just yet. I'm going to keep riding Middlesbrough until there's more evidence not to. Like I say, you just got to keep taking the price. This week they are back at home. on Friday night as well. So, Friday night under the lights in Middlesbrough will be a very loud crowd. They're at home to West Brom. And again, this is very reminiscent of Aberdeen last season. No matter how well they started, you always seem to get favourable odds. And here they are at home. Okay, West Brom are a decent team. They should be up there in the playoff contention, I would imagine. They're definitely not good enough to be the top two, in my opinion. They've got off to a decent start. They've won 3 of their 5, drawing 1 and losing 1. Finding goals hard to come by, though, West Brom. And I think Middlesbrough are just stronger at both ends of the pitch. Like I say, at home, 2.15. I just got to keep taking this price, Rob. It's just so reminiscent of Aberdeen. I've got to keep doing it.
Let's go, Middlesbrough.
Let's go Middlesbrough, and just having a quick look to see what this was last season. Yeah, so Borough won this fixture 2-0 last season. They won it 1-0 the season before as well. They actually won away as well. So Middlesbrough have actually won this match in the last 3. So three in a spin, they've won this match. So there's a little bit of head-to-head favouritism as well. So yeah, definitely going to go Borough. So my 2 picks in England are Liverpool and Palace double chance double, and a Middlesbrough home win at 2.15. Let's go to your neck of the woods, Rob. Tell us all things Netherlands.
Oh, the Netherlands. Now, the Eredivisie has some real nice fixtures cooked up for this weekend. We have actually the top 4 playing each other. I'm not sure if the top 4 ranked now, but traditionally we have PSV against Ajax. That's the biggest game of the weekend. And then we have AZ Alkmaar against Feyenoord. To be honest, I will leave those matches to itself. I have a little bit of lean towards PSV, although they didn't look very convincing in the Champions League against the Belgium side. Always tends to be a lot of goals in Holland, also in those big fixtures. You can get over 3.5 goals for the PSV Ajax match. That's over even money. Then again, I'm not trusting that match, not trusting it either way. So I'm staying away of that one. I did find another match that I really liked. It's FC Groningen against SC Telstar. We talked about Telstar before. They had a real good performance against PSV, where they beat the reigning champion away from home. It's a promoted team that was mid-table in the second division of Holland, and now they still got promoted through the playoff system. FC Groningen, quite a big city in Holland, in the north, and they have a nice mix of young talent that are from their own academy, and a lot of older people, older players as well, to enhance the squad. They performed really well lately with a win against Utrecht away from home last game, a 4-0 win against Heracles. They lost to PSV and AZ this season. They conceded 4 goals in each, but they also managed to get on the score sheet as well against PSV twice. And they're playing Telstar. Yeah, I think Telstar is still not really up to they don't have the quality of the Eredivisie yet, although they have a real good coach as well. He likes to play attacking football. They really have a system. I do think FC Groningen for 1.85 at home is a good price to get the job done. I think the bookies still regard Telstar a little bit higher because of the win against PSV. And then last weekend they played all right. Telstar, had a lot of chances, but they didn't get the goals in, and they lost to Fortuna Sittard. So yeah, I'm going for FC Groningen at home against Telstar, 1.85.
Very lovely. Have you got anything else in Eredivisie?
Yeah, we have the next one, and I think you also like this one. It's NAC Breda, and they're playing at home against Heracles. Heracles, we're fading them this season already a couple of times. So far, just losses, five in a row. They did manage to get a goal against AZ last weekend, but yeah, I don't like them to win this match. NAC Breda on the other side, they drew against FC Twente last weekend. And before that, they did had quite a lot of tough fixtures, to be honest. They lost their first match against Feyenoord, then they got a win against Fortuna, then a loss against NEC, a team that's really playing really well this season so far, a loss against AZ, and then they drew away from home against Twente. It's not even that bad of results. This is actually the first fixture you would say they need to win. At home, they're famous for having a very good crowd. They always go behind the team. And they have one player you might know, actually, and it's Lewis Holtby. Do you know him?
Yes, I can picture the name.
He
I
was
can't remember.
he's a German player, but he could
Did he play
also
for
play for
Tottenham?
England. He managed
Did
to
he play for
even get
Tottenham?
three caps for the German team in friendlies as well. He's now 35 years old. He played for Tottenham Hotspur. He
Yeah, it
played for
was
Schalke.
Tottenham. Yeah, it was Tottenham.
So it was like quite a big signing for them. Like, wow, could they get this player? But then again, he's playing for them, and he actually he has still some quality, definitely in the Eredivisie. So take a look out for him as well. But you can find NAC Breda for over even your money, 2.06.
2.06. I like it. I looked at it myself, this one, because you just do you remember there was quite a few picks last season that we went for NAC Breda at home, the home team, aren't they? There's another home team that you like to
Yeah.
go for, and you told me the story about their fans and stuff. So it's another team that I do look out for at home. Obviously, yeah, they're against opposition worth fading. So I liked it. I liked the price. What time? What time of the day is this? Have you got that? Is it
Yeah.
an
The
afternoon
FC
match, evening
Groningen
match?
match is on Saturday, 6:45. And the NAC Breda game is Saturday as well, 9 o'clock.
Eight, 9 o'clock. And what this is what I was talking. This the reason I asked this is you told me about the fans and how oh my god they're up for it. Saturday night, NAC Breda fans. Come on, it's almost a gimme, no?
Yeah, really, it's definitely gonna be a lot of beers for the fans, and if they win, they all go in the city partying. So Breda is, yeah, it's quite a big city in Holland as well. So yeah, they should be up for it.
It should be up for it. Have you got another pick in Eredivisie? Because I do have one, but if you've got any others, I'll let you go first.
No, you can go.
I don't know what I'm missing here with this pick. And I know what you're going to tell me because Assad, strong home team. But Feyenoord are 3.10 to win this match. Feyenoord won last night. I think they played last night. They won. They've
Yeah.
won 5 out of 5. They do look like they're the best team in the league this year. You did kind of bring us aware to that point, didn't you? At the pre-season pod, you mentioned Feyenoord. Could they challenge PSV? You posted the question. Now we're 5 matches in. They do seem to be the two stronger teams. Ajax are still flirting around there, more or less. Don't look that impressive though.
No.
What do you make of Feyenoord start? And do you think they can go on a title charge this season? And is this just ridiculously good value? Even though Azad are a really strong team, it just seems very nice price.
Yeah, and if you look at the history of Feyenoord playing AZ as well, they do have quite a good history.
I'm gonna jump in, Rob. I'm gonna jump in. They've won the last 6 in a row.
Six in a row. It's yeah, yeah. What's the price for
I
Feyenoord?
already looked at it, so that was my little in my pocket as well. So sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
continue.
2.8, it's real big price. That's true.
No,
Very
three
true.
point one right now, Rob. 3.1. I actually put this on Monday. I put all my bets on Monday this week. I must have been bored or something, but I was already looking and doing my research on Monday. I couldn't get any earlier for this week, and I got 2.87, and I right now it's 3.1, which I find bizarre because they played and won convincingly last night.
Yeah, and they didn't concede as well. They have quite a good, like we all second guessing. They had Hansko last season, who was a real quality player in the back. He's now moved to Atletico Madrid, so it was a little bit scary who's going to be at center back this season. And they have two new guys, Watanabe and Amedovic. And I think Amedovic came from the championship. And then Watanabe is a Japan international playing from, I think, from some team in Belgium. But so far, they look very impressive. Like they're really doing the job. They're quite a little bit older, like 25, 26, 27. And yeah, they really hold their own. Feyenoord doesn't look that convincing when they're playing, but the results are definitely going very well this season. 5 wins out of 5. And as I said as well, it's a little bit on and off team. It's like the youth, a lot of players sold as well this season, quite some big ones. So yeah, it's looked like Feyenoord is more of the experienced team with quality throughout the season, and AZ could play well, but sometimes they also tend to lose their form as well. Maybe that AZ has a week off. That's what's in consideration for the price, but I really like the price. Now you talk me into it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
I think
Feyenoord.
we're gonna lock that in on a pick. Do you want to make it an official pick and we both put it? Because one thing we haven't had so far this season, Rob, is both of us picking the same one. So is that
We're
a pick for
picking
you
that
as
one.
well?
2.8 is a real good price. Like I
It's
didn't.
3.1, mate. I don't know like, what bookie you're looking at. Bet365 has it 3.1 right now.
Wow. I'm looking at it as well right now. 2.8. That's really
3.1 on
bad.
Bet365. I'm actually going to cash out on my other one and put it on 3.1 because I'm still getting my money back for my
Wow.
bet that I placed on Monday. So yeah, I love the price. I can't ignore the price. I know Azad are a good home team. I know there's a good opportunity, there's a good chance Feyenoord will not win, but it's obviously a ground they like going to, and they are seemingly playing the best football in the league at the moment.
Yeah. And what a big discrepancy in the price, because I found on two of my bookies, it's around two. One is 2.8 and one is 2.75. So wow,
Wow.
big price. Jump on it.
Jump on it, jump on it. If you can find that 3.1, it's too good to miss. So, yeah, let's lock that in, Rob. Okay, so I think that's done in Holland, unless you have something in the second division, Rob.
No, I don't have this weekend.
Okay, so let's move on. Let's go to Spain, another country this weekend I found difficult for finding value. And I have found something, though, and it comes again Friday night. We always like at least one match Friday night lights. It seems to be in the reoccurring theme so far this season. So we've got Friday night lights, and it's Real Betis versus Real Sociedad. I have to tell you, I'm just going on a bit of a fading on Sociedad this season. It's just not a team I really see doing that great, to be honest. They're never going to be like relegation fodder, but I don't think they're good enough to get into European places. So just very much a middle table team, I would say. And yeah, this is another team I look for, Real Betis. I look for them at home. I don't ever really pay much attention when they're away from home, but I do like them when they're at home. And look, Real Betis are better than even money. Actually, I say better than even money. I got this at 2.05. It's now exactly even money to win. Okay. And yeah, just they've got quite a good record as well against Sociedad. They won the last three in a row against Sociedad, including this fixture last season, which was 3-0. So far this season, it's I mean they've lost one at home already to Bilbao, but they did win their other match at home, and they've played three away from home already this season, drawing all three. So it's not a spectacular start from Betis, but Real Sociedad have yet to win a match. They drew their first two and they've lost their last two. And okay, one of them was the Real Madrid match from last weekend. But Real Madrid played with 10 men for, I think it was a whole half. I think that red card came either at the beginning of the second half or the end of the first half. But they played against 10 men for the whole second half. They still lost the match. They also lost to Real Oviedo, the newcomers, the week before. So, yeah, I'm just very much fading Sociedad here, winless against a team that normally do the business at home. What I also found interesting about this match, and this is another angle that you can go at if you prefer, and it's both teams to score, no. Okay, so you're betting that both teams do not score. Okay, the odds are 1.9. And the reason that I flagged this up is that 10 of the last 11 matches have had that both teams did not score. I mean, that's quite crazy. 10 out of 11 matches, one of the teams have scored or neither of the teams scored. And that includes the last 8 in a row. So that's also an interesting play. If you don't fancy Betis to win, I think that's also good value to bet against both teams scoring at 1.9. But I'm going to go for the Betis win instead. You could actually put the two together, but I didn't feel like the value was really there for the combination. I was expecting a bit higher in the like threes, about 3.5 or something, but it was less than 3. So not much of a boost. So I decided not to do that. And yeah, I'm just going to go for a Betis win. I mean, in that run on the last kind of 8 or 10 matches, there's been some big wins as well. Betis have won 3-0 twice, as I said, last season was the case, and also a 4-0 win there as well. So they do give some good hide-ins. And going to fancy Betis in front of the fans Friday night at even money.
Okay, Real Betis, another game on Friday night.
Yes, let's continue that trend. And other than that, I don't really have anything. Again, obviously, your obvious ones are a bit short in Real Madrid and definitely and Barcelona, obviously, both at home this weekend. Both, I imagine, probably finding their way onto the big gun Acca potentially, but we'll save that for a little
Real
bit.
Madrid doesn't. I do like Espanyol this season. And then you also have Real Madrid playing midweek in the Champions League as well. So I'm staying away from that one. Although they should win, but I think the price is kind of low for the risk as well in it. And as I said, Espanyol is off to a great start so far this season. They already they didn't lose this season and they won 3 out of their 4. So actually, Espanyol is my Aberdeen of this season. And I'm going to watch them in Spain, their results.
Yeah, you did mention it, didn't you? That you kind of weirdly followed them a little bit pre-season, and they have got off to a good start, as you suggested. So yeah, another dark horse we mentioned was Valencia, my hometown, and they're an interesting price at home to Bilbao. They're 3.1 to win at home. But I just can't back them at the moment. I was really hoping to jump on them this season, but they haven't really done it. They let me down on the opening day, funny enough, against Real Sociedad, who they should have beaten. And yeah, they've won one match, which was Getafe at home 3-0, which is pretty convincing. They got spanked 6-0 to Barca last week. I know you can't read too much into that. And Bilbao, I mean, Nico Williams is injured. Well, he was against Arsenal midweek. I don't know if that injury is continuing for this weekend. But if it is, I would definitely keep an eye out on that price for Valencia. And if it stays around that, it is worth backing. The other thing that puts me off a little bit is that Valencia don't have a good record against Bilbao, generally speaking. They lost this fixture they lost both fixtures 1-0 last year. And generally speaking, they don't really win. It's often draws at home as well. No, I don't like it enough to back it, but it's a little lean towards Valencia, and I'm just hoping that they get a little run together because I was expecting more from them, and they've not really delivered yet this season.
Let's see how it plays out this weekend.
Let's see how it plays out. But Real Betis, even money, is a locked-in pick for La Liga. Okay, going to the other leagues. Let's go to Italy. I haven't got anything in Italy, and I don't think you have either. Como. We always talk about Como. They got a draw on Monday night. You backed them as part of a double with Roma. Obviously, Roma didn't come in anyway, so it was a bit of a dead rubber by the time it came Monday. They were 1-0 up. They went down to 10 men. They another late equaliser against them, getting a 1-1 draw. I'm expecting big things from Como, and every time I'm looking at their price, I'm tempted. I do get tempted. This week, what are you thinking? Is it worth jumping on them yet, or are you waiting to see a little more, little run of form?
I'm waiting to see a little bit more, to be honest. Yeah, the price is quite good for Como, but yeah, I like to see where things are going a little bit longer, to be honest now. Like I like the beginning of the season. You can sometimes see how the friendlies play out a little bit, if a team is stronger, how they did in the transfer market. But at the moment, I think it's quite a tough weekend because some matches are just quite evenly matched up for teams that we normally like, or a team that we like is playing against one of the top ranked teams. And then you also have Europe that comes in consideration. And you never know how it's going to work out for a team. Like most of the time, they spoil a little bit more points after they played in Europe, and maybe definitely after a first time, like the first game week in Europe. So I'm staying a little bit away from those teams like Juventus. Like they had quite a tough match against Dortmund with 8 goals in the second half. So yeah, a little bit scared and a little bit not scared, but just take my considerations and take the good picks.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Juventus. They're actually on the student. Hey ho. Yeah, I'm expecting Juventus to actually do quite well this season, but yeah, just for the value and for Como, away for Fiorentina. I mean, I faded Fiorentina last week with Napoli. Napoli won comfortably. That was a nice pick, good odds. But Como are not Napoli and have given us no evidence of that as much as we like them. I don't think Fiorentina are going to have an amazing season. I don't think they'll be as strong as last year. And it is quite an even game. And the odds from the bookies suggest that. You've got Fiorentina at 2.63, Como at 2.75. So hardly anything between them. Again, I'm very tempted towards Como to try to get at the beginning of the run of form that inevitably they will find at some point. But yeah, probably best to wait for that initial good result and then jump it. So you just never know. Fiorentina can be dangerous, so we'll leave that alone. But we are keeping a sharp eye on Como. Another team that I'm keeping a sharp eye on, I did have them in my student Acca last week, and they did do the business. They weren't the team to let us down last week. And we've spoken about them a lot on this pod, and that is Strasbourg. And this weekend, they are playing away at the new team, Paris FC. I don't know if you've seen any of them so far. They've got off to a fairly decent start. They won 2 and lost 2, Paris FC. And Strasbourg find themselves as underdog in this match. And I found it quite surprising. And so for that reason alone, I'm going to back them because I love myself an underdog. And I think the bookies have made a little bit of an error here. That Strasbourg are 2.88. I understand that Paris FC have won their last 2 matches, but you're looking at, they played Metz and Brest are not the team from a couple of years ago. And Metz was at home. It was a 3-2 ding dong. And Strasbourg have just been going about their business nicely. They've won 3 of the 4 matches. The only match that they lost was away at Monaco, arguably one of the hardest games, probably the hardest game of the season outside PSG. And like them, Rob, we backed them a lot towards the end of last season. This is Chelsea's feeder club. So there's a lot of business, dodgy business. I don't sue me, Chelsea, but let's call it questionable. I take the word back, dodgy. I don't want a liable case. and yeah, like questionable transfer business. And Strasbourg are in the middle of this a lot of the time. And yeah, obviously that does mean benefits and players and whatnot. And they're just going about their business. I backed them, if you remember, on our pre-season or the first pod that we recorded. I really like this team, and I was trying to look for odds for them finishing top four this season. They are currently fifth, well, joint third, if you like, really, with 9 points. And yeah, I just think the bookies have got carried away a little bit here with the new shiny toy. And I just don't think there's enough evidence here right now of Paris FC being of the standard to compete with the better teams in the league. So for that reason, I'm going to jump on this price. And look, I might have egg on my face come the end of the match. But this reminds me, this price reminds me of a price that you'll never get in 6 weeks' time if Paris FC start just, losing a few matches here and there. Like there's just not enough evidence yet for them to know who they are. So that is a bookie's nightmare. They've kind of drawn the line that, well, they've won their last two matches, so we'll make them favourites. I just don't see why. So 2.88, I'm taking Strasbourg.
Okay, maybe to take into consideration that I know the trouble of Strasbourg is with Chelsea and the dodgy business, and around surrounding that is a Dutch striker who is captain for Strasbourg, Emega, and he actually already signed by Chelsea, and now he's loaned back for this season. But they already said, okay, next season he's going to play for Chelsea. So the fans of Strasbourg are like, hey, what's up with our captain already sure about leaving? We should take his captain band off. So there's a little bit of trouble in paradise. But so far, the results has been really good. And I think Emega did not even play all the matches because he was injured. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But I do fancy your pick.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, but it doesn't really change
No,
my
not
thinking
really.
for the match. And look, it's about taking value. And I've changed my. I always look for value. That's the name of the game. That's what we do on this pod. But I'm really because it's so early in the season and haven't really got a lot of statistics to play with right now. I'm really leaning towards matches where I just think the price is better value than the result. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm just really going on it, and so far it's working for me. And it's a lot of gut instinct. It's a lot of just my strategy usually, Rob, is that I look at the form and the stats before I look at the price. That's how I like to do it. It's how I've always done it. However, I'm actually going backwards this season because I'm not normally a fan of betting in the first 8 matches of the season because I need 8 matches really to start seeing form to read those statistics. So because we're in that period of time and we're recording a pod and we have to put ourselves out there with some picks, I'm doing it completely different. I'm doing the opposite, and I'm looking at the price first, and anything that just signals to me like, oh, I like that. Oh, that's a nice price. I'm literally going like that, and then I'll look into the match a little bit more, read a bit of a bit of details, and have a little look and try to get a little bit of insight. And it's very difficult when it's only like 3 or 4 matches, but like yeah, that's how I'm doing it. It's kind of working, and yeah, again, I just like the price 2.88. Let's have it, Strasbourg.
No, keep on doing it because so far it's working really well. You're on a hot streak,
Indeed,
so let's
indeed.
continue.
Indeed, and even when I've got the stats to play with, I might do it this way round if it keeps working, and then have the stats as a secondary rather than my primary reason for picking. So let's see how that plays out as the season develops.
Let's
Rob,
see.
we've run out of countries. Well, we've got Germany, but I don't have anything in Germany. Do you have anything?
Me neither.
Okay, so well, it would be rude not to just get onto those Accas. And Rob, we've not had a winner yet, and it's getting frustrating. And we've had so many near misses. It's always been kind of one team. But look, we have to start somewhere, and I know the big Accas is going to come good. So Rob, why don't you tell us what you've got for the big gun Acca?
I have a big Anaka that can help us out of our troubles with the Akas. It's gonna get us 4.68 units of profit, or 3.86, 3.68
3.86.
units of profit. You just have to stake it with 1 unit, and then we're out of trouble. First up, FC Barcelona, Inter, Liverpool, Bayern München, Napoli, and Sporting Lisbon. And you can find it this sixfold for 4.68, involving 5 home teams, 1 team playing away from home, in form Bayern München. So let's get it done.
Can you just clarify that price? Because you said it at the beginning as well, and you changed from 4 point to 3 point, and then so it's
Yeah, I
definitely
was talking about
4.68.
like if you put 1 unit on, you're gonna make 3.68 units
Yeah,
profit.
yeah, yeah.
And so the odds are 4.68 for the
Four point
sixfold.
six. Yeah, so 3.6 to 1, basically. Yeah, it's always it's taken me a long time. I'm, as you can guess, I'm from England, and we always talk fractions in England. Yeah, so it was always 2 to 1, 3 to 1. So 3.0 is 2 to 1 in
Yeah.
fractions, and it took me a long time to really get into decimals. But now decimals feel the more natural way for me, and fractions confuse me a bit more.
Yeah, the
So yeah,
fractions are always on the bookies. They are like strange fractions, like, oh, you have to really think about it, at least in my mind, because I'm not used to it. I did manage to cope with the American system now. I think I got it down. It's also a little bit strange because you can go either way. It's like, or the plus 300 or something, or you go like minus 150. And then I have to think about, oh yeah, if you put 150 down, then you're gonna get 100. So it's 1.5 or something. So yeah, I think it works like that.
okay. Let's look at the student Acca. Just bear me a little second because I haven't actually written it down, but I have got it in my bets on my bookies. So let me go. Let me go into there to get it. And we are getting close on this. So it's always 1 or 2 at the most letting us down. Obviously, we're talking big odds here of around 15 to 1, generally speaking. So yeah, getting frustrated with this because it's been close. But again, as we always say, you can make up doubles and trebles and stuff, and you'd probably find some profit here with these picks. Always around the 1.5 between 1.4 and even money. I normally look for. So this weekend we have got Norwich. Norwich are in the Championship, playing at home to Wrexham. Wrexham not finding it as easy as they thought they would. So I'm going for Norwich. I'm also going for a League 2 match, MK Dons, home to Accrington Stanley. Then I've got in Spain, Villarreal, home to Osasuna. Juventus away to Verona. And then in Germany, I've got 2 teams, Borussia Dortmund and Eintracht Frankfurt. And you've got 6 teams there for odds of 16.62.
Okay, let's get it. Let's get the
And
student
just
DACA.
let's get that. Let's just quickly, because you mentioned your big Acca there, Rob. I, like last week, I omitted Roma. I am just going to put it out there now. I am taking Liverpool out of your big gun Acca when I put that bet on.
Okay,
So
I already
I'm
thought
just,
so.
yeah, I'm just
Might be
someone that
smart.
I don't like putting all my eggs in one basket, generally speaking. Yeah, like, I know that sometimes I hurt myself. I know you. I know you, it depends. It depends on the game. Yeah, I think there was another game last week that was in the big Garnacha and was on something else. Feyenoord, I think. Yeah, and I didn't have any problems going twice on them because I was just 100% sure. But
Yeah.
as we've said, I do fancy this. As I've already said, as I've got a double pick on this game. But it is a game you wouldn't be massively surprised if it was a draw. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just not going to go for my double. I'm not going to put 2 units on it effectively on a double and the big gun Acca. So I am going to omit it, but I fully understand why it's there. And let's try and hope. Well, I say let's hope it wins. I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't really hope it wins, but you know what I mean. Let's hope for the sake of this pod that it wins and we finally get off to an Acca win because it's due. It's due.
It's due. It's due.
Definitely due. Right. Okay. So, Rob, I think that brings us to the end of the pod. Do you have anything more before I round it up?
Okay, no, I don't.
You don't. Okay, so I'm just 1 second. I'm just making a quick note of the teams. Okay, so let's start from the top. So we started in the Premier League with that Liverpool and Palace double chance double. Okay, that's 2.05. I do fancy Palace to win, but let's be on the safe side and go for the double chance and double it up with Liverpool. I'm going to keep riding the Middlesbrough train. I'm going to keep riding it. This time they're at home to West Brom, 2.15. In Holland, we've got 3 picks here in Eredivisie. We've got FC Groningen to win at home against Telstar, 1.85. We love NAC Breda. We love them even more when they're playing at home under the lights on a Saturday in front of their boisterous, drunk fans. 2.06 to beat Heracles. Yes, please, Feyenoord. It is a tricky match away at Assad. It's always a tricky match away at Assad, but we cannot avoid these odds. 3.1 in my bookie. Somewhere between 2.75, 2.8, 2.8. Doesn't matter. If you're getting anything above 2.5, you've got to be jumping on that as value. And then we like Real Betis at bang on even money for Friday night lights. And Strasbourg, the Chelsea feeder club, away at New Boy FC Paris. They are the underdog. Let's back them as well. And then finally, we've got the big gun Acca, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Napoli, Sporting Lisbon. That does sound like a traditional big gun Acca, 4.68. It's going to be a winning pod, Rob. Where can people find us?
Yes, people can find us across all social media. You can find us on X. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and even on Blue Sky. You can listen to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course on YouTube. We really appreciate if you like and subscribe or even comment. What are your picks this weekend? Maybe we can take a look at them and let us know and try to interact with us.
Lovely, Rob. Thanks for that. And yeah, really important to interact with us. Let us know what you're betting on. We do miss stuff. We can't cover every single league, every single game. There's always more opportunities out there. Please, we're giving this service to you to highlight some matches. Give it back to us. It's only fair. Give us some ideas of what you're going for this weekend. Whatever you do go for, we wish you all the best, all the luck in the world. We will speak again this time next week, and let's see if we can talk about a winning pod. Ciao for now.
Happy betting.